buying gold bars on a monthly basis. Most people would think that isn't particularly possible. But I've got to be honest, I think with 1 gram gold bars, buying gold on a monthly basis is quite possibly a good idea. So hello and welcome back to another episode here on Future Investments. Today I'm talking about something that I absolutely love, and that's 1 gram gold bars. Now the title of this episode is Buying 1 gram Gold Bars, My Plan. What does that mean? Well, first of all, I'm going to be going through my plan and why, then why 1 gram gold bars, which gold bars and why, justifying the premiums, why not silver, how I will buy them, and my final conclusion. So that's the categories. We're going to get straight into the nitty gritty. So starting off, my plan and why. Why am I considering buying gold not only on a monthly basis, but why 1 gram gold bars? It's a good question that I find myself asking myself, but to be honest with you, it's actually a bit of a no-brainer, and I'm surprised I haven't done this in my plan, considering I've been investing in gold bullion for around 4 years now. And I've sat down and I've had a good think about it. So for me, my plan going forward is to stack and invest in gold bullion over 2024 to preserve my wealth and hedge against inflation. Ideally, I'd love to pick up quarter-ounce gold Britannias on a regular basis, but given my portfolio adjustments and where I'm allocating some of my capital for my investments, that's not always going to be entirely possible to invest on that level every single month. It's just far too much capital. So that leaves me with the possibility of maybe buying 1 gram gold bars every single month. And I don't mean a lot. I mean as simple as 1 gram gold bars on a 1 month basis per month. Now, the reason I say that is because they're cheap. It's one of the cheapest ways to enter the investment market of gold bullion, the yellow metal. It's how I started my journey investing in precious metals. And I think it's a really affordable way to do so. Not only that, you can accumulate quite a lot. After 12 months, you've guessed it, you've got 12 1 gram gold bars. And I think personally, when you're looking at buying these 1 gram gold bars, some people may not be able to afford it. I understand that. Everyone's financial circumstances are different, but this is my particular plan and why this may work for me. Personally, I feel like I can afford to allocate the money that it costs for 1 gram gold bars. We'll get onto that later on in the episode. Every single month. I do have that spare. I might sometimes spend it on a takeaway or some clothes or some materialistic items that aren't really any beneficial value to me. So I feel like I should go forward trying to allocate at least one purchase every single month of 1 gram gold bars. That way, in between saving up for maybe a quarter-ounce gold Britannia, I'm going to be building up a nice addition to my gold investment portfolio on an accumulation basis. And it's kind of going to act like a compound effect where little by little, you make little changes and little investments. But in the long run, at the very end, you've built up a very nice little stack of 1 gram gold bars. So that's my plan of why I'm going to be investing in 1 gram gold bars on a monthly basis in 2024. If you're watching this far into the episode, consider staying till the very end because I've got 5 awesome gold facts that I think you'll be interested to hear. So moving on to number 2, why 1 gram gold bars? Well, it's a no-brainer. I briefly touched on this earlier. They're very cheap. It's the cheapest form of 24 karat gold bullion that you can buy. Of course, you could go for something like sovereigns, but they're 22 karat. And for me, I just really love the fact that I'm getting the purest bullion there is on the market. That's 24 karat. And they are very liquid as well. That's a massive benefit to 1 gram gold bars. Instead of having to sell off maybe a quarter-ounce gold Britannia or a 1 ounce gold Britannia, for example, when you need some funds, if a SHTF situation appeared, with 1 gram gold bars, you're not losing a big chunk of money that you've put into a single investment. You can liquidate individual bars to build up the capital from a sale needed to give you them funds. So for me, that's why I want to invest in 1 gram gold bars. I just love how liquid they are. I love how cheap they are. I love the way they look. For me, they're very appealing. I love them in the assay cards, the blister cards, whatever you want to call them. I think they're very appealing and they're easy to store. They're very, very light and they don't take up much room. So for me, I have got a bit of a soft spot for these 1 gram gold bars. It probably lends to the fact that it's how I started my investment journey. And I know some of you are going to be saying right now, well, what about the premiums? Don't worry, I'm going to get onto that in a moment. So moving on to category number 3, which gold and why? Listen, that's an important topic of this because it could have a detrimental effect on the difference between your investments and how much you have to spend. So for me, my plan is to purchase 1 gram gold bars from Gold Bullion. Now, you guys will know that I have a partnership with them and I'm very, very proud to be partnered with such a wonderful bullion dealer. But I won't be getting any discounts. I'll be paying the same price that everyone else pays. The simple reason that I'm going to go for 1 gram gold bars over PAMP or the Royal Mint is because they're very, very cheap. The packaging is just as nice. And at the end of the day, the bullion that you are buying is the same purity of gold. 49's fine, 24 carat bullion. And at the end of the day, I have come to teach myself and to learn that for me personally, it's not always about the brand that you're buying from, because at the end of the day, what is valuable is not the name, not the packaging, it's what's inside. It's the yellow metal that you're buying. That is what is important. And for me, I really love the 1 gram Tavex gold bars. I think they're very, very cheap when comparing them to Royal Mint and PAMP gold bars. For example, a Tavex 1 gram gold bar will cost you £58, and a Royal Mint 1 gram gold bar, like you can see in front of me, will cost you around £76. So that's an £18 difference for the exact same weight and purity of gold. For me, that's a no-brainer. I don't know why you would consider paying another £18 for the same purity and weight of gold. Now, of course, you can say to me, well, future investments, you've got 4 Royal Mint gold bars in front of you and 4 PAMP bars. We know they're equally expensive. But I bought these when I started my investment journey, and it's very important that I say that I was learning. I haven't always been this knowledgeable about investments. I've had to learn as I go, like every investor. Now, however, that's not to say I dislike PAMP or the Royal Mint. I think they're globally leading brands in precious metals and investments. But as an investor who's becoming more experienced, it's much more important for me to try and get the best value possible for the price I'm paying so I can get the best yield on my investment. So which gold and why? It's going to be 1 gram Tavex bars, simply because of their price point, and secondly, I really like them. Moving on to category number 4, something you'll all be talking about, I'm sure, justifying the premiums. It's a good question that often is thrown around 1 gram gold bars. You shouldn't pay the premiums on 1 gram gold bars. You shouldn't buy 1 gram gold bars. The premiums are just far too high. I see a lot of those comments on a lot of my videos. And I've got to be honest, I don't disagree with those comments. They're very, very valid points. When you look at the nitty gritty and you break down the values of 1 gram gold bars, the premiums are absolutely astronomical. But that's not going to stop me, because simply I still believe they're a fantastic investment. The reason that is I like to live by the mindset with gold that it's better to have some gold rather than no gold. And it's a point I made earlier on. I could easily spend £58 on an item that's going to give me no value specifically. It might give me a short-term satisfaction, but after that, I'm not going to care about it. Whereas I could invest £58 in a 1 gram gold Tavex bar, and that's not only going to give me satisfaction as an investor, as a stacker, but it's also going to help my capital from lowering in value from inflation, and it's simply going to hedge against that inflation. So for me, I'm not too caught up on those premiums. I know I'm investing for a long-term period, and I think that's very, very important. my investment period for gold bullion is around, let's say, 20 to 25 years before I plan to liquidate most of it. So I know I've got a lot of time to work against those premiums paid on those investments. Of course, if you were to buy them and sell them back straight away, you're going to take a big loss. But that's not my plan. That's not my strategy. So buying 1 gram gold bars for me is completely justifiable because I'm going to be holding them long enough to hopefully outweigh those premiums paid. As we know, gold goes up around 9% a year. When we adjust that for inflation, the true value is around 6 to 7% per year, every year. So it's still a very attractive investment with premiums or not. So moving on to category 5, why not silver? Why are you not going to buy silver every month as well? It's a good point that I think a lot of you will be thinking, because at the end of the day, we all love a bit of silver in our investment and precious metals stack. And why not? Diversification is key. I always talk about that, and I truly do believe that diversification is so important when it comes to investing. And listen, I do hold silver bullion in my portfolio. I think it's a very undervalued commodity that is highly used in industrial markets. But for me personally, I've reached the limit of my expenses on what I wanted to invest in silver. I do see it going up in value in the next 10 to 20 years. But as of now, my plans for 2024 do not consider any investments for silver bullion. So that's the simple reason why I won't be buying any silver on a regular basis. Moving on to category number 6. How will I buy them? Well, you could say it would be cheaper to go privately on forums and message people directly to try and avoid those premiums you're going to pay at bullion dealers. But for me, I'm quite a straightforward cut investor. I like to save time, and for me, paying a little bit extra to save myself some time is really valuable. It's really valuable to me. I spend a lot of time doing investments, content creating, working, building a career for myself. So my time is very valuable. So I'm more than happy to buy direct from, let's say, Tavex Bullion for their 1 gram Tavex bars. And I'm happy to pay a slight premium that they're going to charge on those, because it's going to save me quite a bit of time trying to source Tavex bars anyway from a private sale. So I'm going to be buying direct from them for ease of sale, and I'm happy to pay the slight premium that they're going to charge for that. So in a final conclusion, how I plan to buy 1 gram gold bars and why. You've heard the nitty gritties, but for me, I've got a big soft spot for these bars. I love them. I think they're very popular. I think they're very liquid. I think they're quite cheap, really, for what they are, considering you're investing in gold. I think it's a very exciting investment, and I'm a big believer on compound interest and the compound effect. Doing simple tasks and achieving simple goals every month, week, or day will add up to a big, nice pot at the end. So for me, I'm going to be investing in 1 gram gold bars on a monthly basis going forward. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I have. I love talking about 1 gram gold bars. You guys always seem to enjoy that sort of content as well. So please let me know in the comment section if you've enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. Bye-bye. Okay, so thank you very much for staying till the end of this episode. I really enjoyed filming this one. I always love talking about 1 gram gold bars. For me, I have a bit of a soft spot for them. Okay, so you stayed till the end to hear 5 facts about gold bullion. So let's get straight to it. Number 1, gold is one of the most dense and heavy metals in the periodic table. Very interesting. And of course, we know that because when you start to stack it, it gets rather heavy. Number 2, gold will not pay you an income. People love gold as an investment, but they often forget that it's not going to generate you any income. So if you're looking to build wealth quicker and give you some sort of dividends, gold may not be the best investment for you. Number 3, gold is the only yellow metal. You won't find another precious metal that is yellow. Number 4, it's a noble metal. What does that mean? Well, it means it doesn't rust or tarnish. That's a big reason why gold is so popular, because it doesn't tarnish or rust, and people love that. And the final fact of number 5 is 24 carat gold bullion. The purest bullion you can get your hands on will only melt at a starting point of 1064 degrees, which is quite nice to know, seeing as a lot of gold stackers and investors tend to hold their precious metals close to them. So if there ever was a fire, it's got to get pretty hot before it starts to melt your yellow metal.